Hello and welcome to the first BrandOut Banter. My name is Douglas Spencer from Spencer Brenneman. And what is a BrandOut Banter, you ask? Well, it is, think of it like Meet the Press for branding and marketing, only more enjoyable, funnier, and far less depressing. We have a number of social media and marketing experts that are going to join us. Two in particular are going to start us off today: Erika Alter from ESM Marketing and Neal Strauss. We'll introduce those folks in a second. And this is going to be an ongoing series of YouTube or videos that we just do because we like doing it and it's fun, and also to promote the idea of our brand outs, which are 1-hour video conferences that you can have with a series of subject matter experts on anything that has to do with marketing or branding. It's kind of like a second opinion for marketing and branding, or it's just a gut check from a third party. So you can check us out at spencerbrenneman.com and learn all about our brand outs. And you can also get information about any of the links that we share on this brand out. So we're going to talk about some brands, and we'll be linked to those on that page as well. So that's what you can find at spencerbrenneman.com. And enough about that, blah, blah, blah. Let's meet the team. First off, say hello to Erika Alter, or otherwise Erika. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you.
And you're calling from New York today, right?
That's right. I am in New York, and I am currently in a WeWork space, actually.
We love WeWork. Great.
We do.
Okay, and now, Neal, please say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Neal Strauss, and I'm from Philadelphia.
That's right. Neal is a social media strategist, and he is a frequent collaborator with Spencer Brenneman. So we're a big fan, and we're happy to have him on this inaugural brand out. Okay, so let's get started. Enough blah, blah, blah. So today's topic, we have chosen to discuss outsourcing, or rather crowdsourcing, completely different, crowdsourcing decisions about your brand. And there's a number of articles that we got from our friends at brandchannel.com. And if you've not been to brandchannel.com, I thoroughly encourage you to do that. You can sign up for their daily newsletter. They've got amazing content about brand. And I'm not just saying this because I'm hoping they'll pick this up and share this video with all of their subscribers. I'm not saying that at all. I really do mean it. They are great, and they're a great source for branding information. So by all means, do follow up. But anyway, recently on brandchannel.com, they featured some brands that have started to outsource brand decisions. First up is Oreo. They are having a contest for about $500 million for people to design an Oreo cookie, a flavor Oreo cookie, and they're using the brilliant Ellie from Erika from, help me out, Ellie.
From Kimmy Schmidt.
That's right, the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
No, that's a singer, but yes, Kimmy Schmidt.
That's right, that's right. And she's featured, celebrating in getting that going. There's also Lay's, who earlier this year did a 1 million competition to design a flavor. Kind, the, I don't know, trail mix bar company, they are doing it slightly differently. They're putting together 4 wacky flavors and then having people vote on them. And then finally, Crayola. Crayola for National Crayon Day, who knew that was a thing, on March 1st, they announced that they were retiring the Canary Yellow campaign, Dandelion Yellow crayon, and they're creating a new blue crayon, and the new blue crayon needed a name. And so they're having a contest where people can suggest names. They're going to pick the top 5, I think, July 4th, and then sometime in fall, they will announce which one won. Now, I have conflicting opinions about this whole outsourcing of branding decisions, but enough from me. Let's hear what the other folks have to say. Erika, what do you think of all this?
Well, generally speaking, I think the idea of crowdsource branding is a good idea if you have your pulse on the market and you as a marketing director, communications director are already confident in the value of your brand in the marketplace. In other words, you're quite certain that there's a fairly positive association with your brand. The reason I raise that is there are a number of examples, and I won't name names, where this type of crowdsourced marketing has been, or crowdsourced branding has been launched to very negative results. As it turns out, hotels, for example, airlines have done similar campaigns, and as it turns out, their customers were not very happy with them, and it was these Twitter campaigns that brought that to the company's attention in a very public way. There's a lot of tools out there that companies can use to determine sort of their where they stand in the market, and so I would suggest that you just be fairly confident before you launch this type of a campaign. That said, it's also very common thinking that no one can really express your brand's value better than your customers. And with that in mind, I think, again, as long as you have a fairly positive association with your brand to begin with, that these outsourced campaigns are a very good idea. Not only are they great from an overall brand exercise, but I think in terms of commercial strategy, there's a lot that can be gleaned, not just from those who are participating and suggesting names for a crayon or flavors for a potato chip, but there's a lot of color and commentary that will come out of that process that will probably inform longer term branding and messaging and business strategy decisions.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think most of that color and commentary is probably going to come from social media. And so I would imagine, Neal, that there's a lot of upside to this, and probably is more than downside. What do you say? I don't know.
A lot of upside. I mean, as you said, Erika, it's very easy to, if you have a positive brand standing and people like you, to hear what they're saying and to possibly take your company in a different direction or a new direction that will not only make your customers happy, but make you and your brand, in fact, much better. But with that being said, it's also very easy for it to go very badly. We've all seen the power of social media recently and how it can affect companies and their stock prices and their perception to the masses. So if you don't have a good handle on how to use social media and how to really manage this campaign effectively, this can go bad very quickly.
Yeah, it really can. And so here are my issues with it. So on one hand, I absolutely agree, Erika, you're right about giving your employee or giving your customers a power of the brand, because it really, in many ways, is their brand anyway. There's a great story about, I think 2009, Tropicana changed their carton, the design of the carton, and within a month, there was enough uproar from people that they went back to the original design, which I find fascinating because it's a carton of orange juice. Right. It just goes to prove that customers, passionate customers, and that's what you want passionate customers, they are going to really care about the brand and consider it themselves, consider it their own. Mm-hmm. So I do agree that in many respects, you have to acknowledge that you only own so much of your brand. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, back when I was managing brands myself and when I work with clients now, there's inevitably someone that says, let's have a contest to name something. And it just makes my head want to explode, because no, you don't have contests like that, because not everybody understands the strategy behind your brand. Not everyone understands where you're going to go. Everyone understands marketing, even though everyone thinks they do. Mm-hmm. So contests have to be done very carefully, because otherwise you're going to get just ridiculous stuff. That having been said, I think that these contests probably okay, because they have set the parameters up very carefully. They're not like, for example, Oreo's not asking them to take the business and the brand in a completely new direction. I think pretty harmless what you can do with, although watch the world prove me wrong, pretty harmless what you can do with names of crayon colors. And, Kind, of course, did it the right way, I think, by just providing options. But I think that they've done the parameters right. My only fear is that this, and this is what I think you were getting at earlier too, Erika, is that my only fear is that people will do this in ways that are not so disciplined or not so thought out, and that, they're just going to ask themselves for trouble.
Yes, agreed. I do agree with you. I think to a certain degree, when it's a free-for-all and the end goal is not clearly articulated, that it can backfire, even if it's all positive. To your point, the folks who are commenting are not familiar necessarily with the brand strategy. And so every tweet that is published because of your hashtag that you designate for this campaign will now be associated with your brand, whether you like it or not. And even if it's positive, it may not be aligned with your particular brand. And so you do have to look out for that. I think you're right. Setting specific parameters and giving choices versus making it a free-for-all is probably a safer approach to be determined.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Neal, so if a hashtag takes off in a positive or even if it's not a negative direction you're not really happy with, how do you kind of pull that back? How can somebody bounce back from something that's going not badly, but just not exactly the way you wanted it to?
So the easiest way is to end it early. I mean, you know, if you see that there's no end in sight and that it's starting to take a downward spiral, the easiest way is to say, you know what, we loved this one so much, even if it was kind of, you know, planted in there and it was the best of many, and we're going to work towards this one. Or we're going to do a twist of this one, and you award that one the prize money and the glory. And you say, you know what, we have other options, and you could submit via our website, via, you know, something like this, but you end the campaign early. You kind of try to put the fire out, you throw the water on it, and that'll do some. But, you know, once you put something up online, it's up there. Mm-hmm. So if people really want to, they could take it the worst way possible and take it on forever and ever and ever. But, you know, social media also has a very short attention span.
Right.
So as soon as, you know, it is up there, they may forget about it after a week. So you do yourself have to keep promoting it, keep advertising it, sponsoring content here and there, and pushing it out yourself.
Yeah, that's a really good point that I forget all the time, that social media doesn't last. And that's one of the reasons nobody has an attention span anymore. Or maybe that's a result of people not having attention span. I don't know. But the fact is, if something is bad on social media, as long as it doesn't perpetuate itself, people will forget, because that's what we do.
Right. And luckily enough, there's enough exceptionally bad examples out there that as long as you aren't one of those really bad examples, that people will forget about it and they'll move on. And if you wanted to try it later on, or if you wanted to try something else, you know, people are more willing to do that, and they won't necessarily remember. You may have the brand experts remembering, but the general population, your general customer, probably won't.
Right. So Erika, you throughout your career, I know you very well, and I know that you have been a really accomplished lead generator. So how would a company, especially if it's not a B2C company, how could say a B2B company do something like this to really help generate leads? Because that's, you know, we forget about this sometimes when we talk about marketing and social media, like, oh, hits and da-da-da-da-da, and like, well, if it's not turning into sales, it's not really worth the point, unless it's, of course, just reputation building, but that's a different subject altogether. But Erika, my question about how can someone use something like this to actually generate leads?
So I agree with you. I've worked primarily with B2B companies, and I agree we are consistently challenged because of just the nature of B2B versus B2C to leverage social media for lead gen purposes. It tends to be very valuable in terms of media engagement and helpful when it comes to overall brand amplification. But I think if you want to use it for lead gen, you ultimately need to have that social media campaign somehow point back to whatever container you use to generate leads. So for example, a blog or a website where you perhaps provide related content, you bring them to your site, you give them some interesting information, something fun to engage with, and then perhaps a higher value piece of content that's related to the campaign where they have to fill out at minimum their email address in order to access the content. So that's where you would have more sort of an integrated digital campaign behind your social media campaign. Especially, again, you know, most of the companies I work with, they're not e-commerce. You can't just, you know, click a button and buy something. So the key, I think, you know, it's very rare you're going to have an instant lead, but the key, I think, is to use these viral social media crowdsourcing campaigns to ultimately engage potential prospects and find a way to get them to your site, to your thought leadership content, and bring them there, get them to identify themselves in some way, shape, or form, and then find ways to continue to nurture them and engage them. That could be done with marketing automation software and trigger campaigns and things like that. There is something, though, to just pure social media efforts. It could be interesting, for example, for B2B companies to consider launching social media campaigns that actually go out to their customers' clients, because they tend to be more the consumers. That could be an interesting collaboration. It could be interesting in terms of generating interest from their clients to see what their constituents or their customers in the marketplace are saying about a particular issue or a theme. So that could be something else where you may not be directly engaging your clients, but you're engaging the audience that your clients are interested in. So that could be another approach.
Wow, I like that. That sounds like a topic maybe for a future banter.
I like that.
Okay, the folks that are watching this are busy folks, so we should probably wrap it up. Neal, Erika, anything else to say? Any points you want to wrap up, or any questions you want to ask?
Follow along the campaigns. They're always fun to see where the hashtags are going, what's trending, and you never know, you may be eating that Oreo someday.
Okay, well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. This has been, as you know, our first BrandOut Banter. We hope it's the first of many. And if you have a suggestion for another topic, then let us know. I'm sure whatever platform you're watching this on, there's probably right below some place you could write some suggestions. We're all ears. Let us know, but check us out at spencerbrenneman.com. spencerbrenneman.com, and we will have on the banter page, so spencerbrenneman.com/banter, we will have a list of the links from, say, Brand Channel that we just talked about there, as well as other resources that could get you thinking. So again, thank you, Erika, Neal, thank you very much, and thanks everyone for being here. Have a great day.